All right, now we're recording. All right. So once this gets up and running, which my computer's moving extremely slow for some reason. Let's see. Okay. So did everybody have a good lunch?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, please.
All right. Start. All right, so we have a running app. Back to the way we started. So let's start creating context the way Lambda teaches. So the first thing we'll start is, obviously we have a components folder. We have our source. First thing we want to do is we want to create the context that we're going to be using to wrap our app. So we're going to go into source, and similar to the way we did this morning, we're going to create a new folder, and we'll just call this context. And inside this folder, we know we're going to need two contexts. We need one for the parts, and we need one for the cart. So we'll create a new file. Oh, shoot. New file. And we'll name this one cart context.js. And then we'll make another one called part context.js. So we'll start with the part context, and I'll show you where I was talking about before, where this file is like literally really simple the way they teach you, because this is all that's going to be in here. We're going to import create context, and we're going to get that from React. Okay, so we got that from React, and then we're going to export a const called, let's see, we're in part context, and we're going to set that equal to create context invoked. And that's the file. That's all you got to do in each one. So we'll save that one. We'll do the pretty much the same thing in the cart context. And we'll paste that right in there, except we will change this to the cart. So now we have two context folders. Everybody caught up to that point?
Uh-huh.
All right, we got two context files. Now we're going to start in app. I believe that's app, yep. So app.js, we'll go in there, let me clear some of this stuff out of the way here. Lots of tabs. Okay, so we're in app.js. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to import both of those. We'll import our cart context from the destination, which is context. Cart context, and we'll also import the part context. And that's going to come from part context. So now we have both of those. And after that, you see where we have our states set here, right? And then we have our functions and everything. Then we have our router here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to call them in as providers. So we'll start with the part context dot provider. Dot provider, and we're going to give that a value that's going to be equal to destructured. So it's just like if you were a JSX component where you have to wrap it in curlies for raw JavaScript, you need another set of curly braces for the destructured values. So that's why you see 2 there. And our value is going to be our value of our state, which we don't need to set parts because we never changed that data. So we're just going to make this equal to parts. And then we close that up and hit return. Now the next one we'll bring in is the cart context. So this all should look really familiar to you guys, just in a little bit of a different location.
Or did you wrap that around anything?
Not yet. I'm going to do that in a minute.
Oh.
I'm going to set them up first. So just like that, double structured, and then we want to grab everything that we're going to use. So we got cart and set cart. We know we need those. We also have a add cart and a cart remove, or cart add and cart remove. We're going to put them in there too. Right, escape out of there. So we have our cart state plus the 3 setter functions that we have for that. And then we close this up, hit return. Now we have our part context wrapping the cart context provider. And the easiest way I found to do this for inside a router is I grab all of this stuff like so. And I just hold the Alt key and hit the up arrow twice. And now everything's wrapped.
Wait, could you do that again?
Yeah, sure.
So whenever I do the context, I don't ever wrap it around any app. I mean, I had to jump out, so I wasn't there for like the last half of the morning intros and stuff. But whenever I do it, I don't I I don't wrap the provider in app. I do that in the context when I create a
When you create the context?
yeah, where I create this state. So
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, that's the way we did it this morning. We're doing like a revisit in the afternoon of the way that Lambda is going to teach it, which is this is the way they teach it. They have you bring in the provider separately. So for you, since you missed the morning too, we're going to have recorded videos of both that you can go back and watch, so you can see like the one way to do it and you can see the other way to do it. I was worried about you guys like learning context and not learning it yet, and then when they start lecture, you're like, this is nothing like what I learned, and I didn't want that freak out moment. So I just wanted you guys to see there's both ways to do it.
There's actually a third way too, where you can use a consumer with class components. And
yeah, there's lots of ways to use it. But what Corey said, what I did is you see how we're inside the router, right? I'm going to highlight everything I want to wrap with my providers, which is the all container and all of its innards. And if you hold the Alt key while you got everything highlighted and you push the up or down arrow, it'll actually move everything, that whole block of code, up or down, and move whatever's not highlighted below it. So if you look, I just grabbed it and put it all inside of there.
That's a neat little trick.
Okay.
Yeah. And we can tab it and clean it up a little bit here, so it looks nice and nested. Oh.
So I have a question. So what are the advantages of doing it like that versus doing it like the other way? But like doing the provider in the context.
Truthfully, there's the only advantage I could see of doing it this way, because it's not as clean as the other way, is that if you're making an API call and setting it to state, it's easier to do it in app or inside the scope of a React component than it is inside of a context. So like if you were making like a call to an endpoint and then like we use effect in here and you were setting that to state, you might want to call the provider here so you can literally set that data right here, as opposed to having to do it in the context of it.
Okay. Thank you.
There we go. We're good and cleaned up. So now we're wrapping our component. We have our provider, and it's providing state to everything now. And we're probably going to break this app. It should just like probably freak out on us. No, not yet. Oh, because we're still referencing the state that we have here.
When we pull that out, it'll be like.
When we pull this out, it's going to break. So let's start. What I like to do is I like to start going down my components and see when I'm refactoring, see where I need stuff. So we have our context set up. We have our part context, our cart context, and provider wrapped this way. We have our file set. Now let's go into our components. We'll start. I'm just going to start at the top and work my way down. We'll go into cart details. What do we need in cart details? Okay, obviously we're getting the cart, just the cart state. We have a cart remove, and that's just more cart state. So we need cart and cart remove. So in this is going to be real similar to the rest of the day. We're going to bring in use context. We need our use context hook. And then down inside of our component, we're going to set that to a variable destructured for what we need. We need cart, and we need, was that cart remove or remove cart? Cart remove. Cart remove. And we'll set that equal to use context. I'm doing it this way because I want to see if the auto import works in here, but I don't think it will. Cart context. Auto import context cart context. Yes, please do. Did it do it? Yes. Gotta love VS Code. Did you see it automatically imported this? If you selected that.
Mine wasn't automatically imported.
It doesn't?
No.
Like if you went down here and just started typing it in, it doesn't show up to as a line to automatically import?
No, let me try it again. I might have missed it.
It'll show up as a little box, and you got to click that box, otherwise it won't do it.
Oh, okay. Okay, just click the box. So it's use context. Oh, auto import.
Yeah, and it'll bring in your automatically import your cart context. Save you guys some time. Use the IDE. We'll learn more about the IDE while we do this. So we have our context set now. So now we just got to go in here and start removing our props because we have the cart there. Let's see, there was another spot. Okay, we got to get rid of it here for the cart remove function. No more there. No more there. Cart.item. So that looks like it's the only two spots that's needed. So at that point, we should be able to remove props. I think, yeah, we don't no longer need props, so we'll save that. And here comes our errors. Props is not defined in cart details. Where else am I calling props? Oh, right here. Almost missed that one. About now. All better. So everybody caught up to this point?
I'm getting a weird error. It says element type is invalid, expected a string for built-in components. It says check the render method of app.
Check the render method of app. All right, share your screen for me real quick. Let's see what it is. It might be the way it got nested. We might be missing something.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, you see how your part context and your cart context are inside of that header on the bottom? Line 77 and 78, and you got 79 hanging on the outside. So just go ahead and highlight 79 and use your Alt up arrow key and put that inside the two. One more.
Oh, okay.
There you go. That should fix it.
No, still throwing an error.
Nope. Extract mode app. All right, let's go back in and take a look at that some more. inside router. Go ahead and scroll up a little bit. Keep going up. Let's check our imports. Part from part, cart set cart. I don't see anything
Should this
really
have-
wrong.
Should this have 2 dots?
No, not in app. App we're only one because we're at the same level as app. Why is
It has
it?
a header, you know, underneath the all container closing. Yeah, you don't need a header over there.
Let me see. Where does header go? Let me look at
77?
mine. Let me look
Yeah,
at
77.
mine. Yeah, I got mine on the outside of it too, actually.
Oh, I don't have it.
I don't even
That
have header.
Yeah, me neither.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wait, I
Weird.
do. Header should be all the way up at the top, above all container.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and that's the closing tag with that one. Yeah.
Oh, you know, my all container might not be nested properly.
No, that's in the right place.
That's in the right place?
Yeah.
Okay.
Save that.
Yeah, still nothing.
What did we break?
Says you
You
likely
don't have to
forgot
declare that header part, just closing header tag, that's it.
Well,
is
it
it-
says
When you open,
Is it not closed?
no, it has to be closed. Okay.
Oh, it is
it's closed.
closed.
Just remove the card in header
No,
and just
no,
close.
it needs to be in there.
Oh, what I have it, I don't have it, and it still work.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it in mine and it's still working.
It says the full error says element type is invalid, expected a string for built-in components or a class/function for opposite.
Wait,
components.
it's looking at his index.js.
Yeah,
Running a
because
React
it's
DOM.
doing it by the render method, but it was working until you did that, right?
I don't know how long I've had the error. I wasn't really looking at it.
All right, let's go into let's check your context files real quick and just make sure.
Okay.
Export const, yeah. Go ahead to the other one. Context. Okay, those are both right. Go back into app. Okay, provider's got to be capitalized. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And do
Yeah,
the
it's
same
the-
thing on the closing ones. Save that and see if your errors disappear.
There we go.
All right.
Silly typos, man.
Some typos. All right, so we're
All right, thank you.
back.
Thank you.
I love fixing errors, man. It's fun. All right, so everybody should have the cart details sorted out, correct?
Yes, I do.
All right. And then we'll move on to the cart header. Well, let's go right on down the line. Let's see what we need in cart header. Looks like we just need the cart and no functions. So let's do the same thing. We're going to bring in use context. And then we'll just go down here. Const. We know we just need the cart. So we don't need any other functions, just the cart. Use context. And then we call a cart context. We should get our auto import. Did it take it? Nope. I hate that. It only works sometimes with me.
Worked for me.
Yeah, there it goes. Now it's there. There we go. So now we got our cart context. I noticed my computer's moving slow. It doesn't keep up. So now we just got to get rid of props right here. And then we save that one. And that should be the end of, I don't see anything else. That should be the end of the cart header. We can get rid of props too. All right. It took a while to load. I thought I broke it. All right, everybody caught up on that one?
Yep.
Yeah, that was easy.
All right, category container. Oh, what do we have in here? Looks like we got parts. We got the cart going into the modal right here. And this where you refactor that in the part card, Tommy?
In the part card, I just took all of the, like the cart add, the cart remove. I took all of that cart related stuff out.
Okay, and you just had that, and let's take a look at part card. So that's coming in as props. Is there a ternary? If props.cart.items.includes part. Props.add cart. All right, well, try that. Let's go in our category container. So all we should need in here is the parts context. So use context comes in. Oh, capital O, it ain't gonna like that. Let's create a const of parts. That's gonna be equal to use context. And that'll be the part context. There we go. So now we have the part context as parts. We can get rid of the props here. Get rid of props here. Moving on down the line, we got props here. And that looks like that's it. Then we'll hold off on removing the props out of this until we go to do it. Actually, yeah, that might break it. We'll circle back to that one. Let's check our header. Anything in the header? Oh, yeah, we need the cart in here. So let's get our use context. And we'll come down here, const, we need the cart, only the cart. Use context. And cart context. Automatically import, yes, I love that. And we get rid of the props. That's sending it to the cart header though. Didn't we already redo the cart header to where it didn't need it? Yeah, so wait a minute. We don't even need this in header, do we? Because this is gone. I might have just steered you guys wrong. We might not even need this. Let's see what happens when I save that. Did it break? Nope. Yeah, we don't even need this in here. Forget I said that. The header is no longer needing any context. So we can get rid of all this stuff. Because we passed that as a prop earlier. All right. Everybody following along? Doing good? All right. Let's go to part.js. All right, it's getting the part from a mapped component, so we don't want to mess with that. Basically, we only want to mess for anything that's parts. And here we have an add to cart function. So we do have the add cart here. That brings in set cart. All right, so we do need the cart, and we need the set cart. All right, so we're gonna bring in the cart context here. So use context.
We're gonna need
input.
parts too, right?
Yeah, actually we are. We're gonna need parts too. We're gonna need them both. So we'll call const. We need parts. Use context. We'll go to part context. Oh, I got can text. I don't like that, does it? Bring it up. Auto import it. Yes. And then we're gonna have const. Do I need just the cart? I need a set cart. So I need cart and set cart. And that'll be equal to use context, the cart context. All right. So now we have those. Let's get rid of prop.parts here. Prop.parts here. Prop.parts here. All right, we can get rid of props.setCart. Props.cart. Lots of props in this one. And props.cart here. And that should be it. Save that. Let's see what broke. See if I broke anything yet. Oh, we're still alive. All right, so that's the part.js. Everybody up to speed with that one?
Yeah, I'll follow.
All right, cool. Parts card. Moving on down the line. We only got 3 more to go. Let's see, props.part.model. So this is just an individual. That's going to have to come from props because that's mapping over. However, where we're getting price from. Props.part. Looks like we got some add cart, some remove cart. We need the cart. Yeah, this is the individual part, so it's not part. So it looks like we should just need the cart context here. And it looks like we're not even using state in here, so I'll ditch that. And we'll just make this the use context. And even if we forget a couple of these, it's got a good way of telling you that you forgot it. So props.part, that's coming in there. So let's create a new one here. Call this const. Let's see, we need the cart. We need cart remove and cart add. Cart remove, cart add. Equals.
Chris, can you go back real quick? I wanted to show them something as you were doing that.
As I was doing which part?
As you were destructuring.
As I was destructuring
the cart and the cart remove and the cart add.
Okay, like down here?
No, just up there in the use context.
Right here?
Yeah, on line 7.
Okay.
Like, watch if he deletes
I'll be
those
right
out.
back.
All right. So if I delete this one out?
Yeah, if you delete them all out real quick. I want to show him something. If he knows he needs cart, so go ahead and start typing cart. And then look right there how it's showing you there's 2 other versions of cart in this file that are not being used. It's giving you a hint right there as to what you need to destructure.
Yeah, definitely. Gives you a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll use them. Cart remove. Yeah, nice tip. See if it'll pick up my import. Yes, I would like to do that. All right, so we have all three of them. We'll go ahead and ditch the props here. Props off a cart remove. And props off a cart add. And then here, got nothing. And does everybody understand why we had to keep these props? Is that confusing to anybody?
Yeah, I want to know why we keep it.
Well, basically this part card component, we're mapping over it. We're creating multiples of these. And in order to create multiples, like when we map over, like anytime we make a container that takes card components, kind of like the GitHub user card project and so on and so forth. Let me see this go. That'll be probably the category container. You could see categories.linked. Is this where I do it at? Let's try the store category. I might be making the cards here. But basically what we're doing is we're mapping over those cards. I think it's in category container. And when we're mapping over those cards, we send one item out of the array into that card. And then we create another one with the next item. Those have to come in through props. Otherwise, you got to write a lot of logic inside of each one to figure out what ID it is to get from state. So when we're mapping over in the parts card and sending those in through props, that's where this props.part comes from. It's getting a name, a URL, and a price for each of those individual items. So in props, it's just one item. It's not the array of items. So we have to keep our props in our card because we're creating a bunch of them.
Okay, got it. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
No problem. So that should be good there. Still haven't broken anything yet, but we haven't removed a lot yet. All right, store category. What do we have in here? Looks like it's getting a props name and a props image. Let's go take a look in our app and see where that's coming from for our store category. Store container. It's probably coming from store container. Okay, yeah, store category is coming in here. All right, so we probably leave store category alone, I would guess. Store container brings in parts. And the store category, yeah, that's mapping over. See, anytime you see this map and you see this component in here, you want to leave the props of that alone unless it's a setter function, because otherwise it's going to be different every time it renders. So what this is doing is making each one of these. So if we went in and brought in state into each one of these components, we'd have to find a way to identify each one different. So you'd have a couple of loops by the input. It'd actually create more work to use context in there than it would just be passing those props one level down. So we would leave those alone. So in store category, that's all it's getting is a name and an image. So we'll leave that alone. Store container would be our last one that takes in props.parts. And that's it. So we're going to bring parts into this one. So we'll do use context. All right. We'll come into our function and we'll create that context const. We need parts. And we're going to set that equal to use context. And it's going to be the, oh, I can't type today. part context schema auto import. Do it. My computer's moving so slow. It's not going to give it to me, is it? Nope. Meanie. I'm going to keep fighting this until it does. It doesn't like when I got Zoom going doing this. Yeah, well, I'll just have to bring it in the hard way.
For some reason, that file didn't like me trying to auto import either.
It's weird. All right, let's save that. Still hasn't broken anything. Cool. All right, so we have that. Let's get rid of props here. We get rid of props here. Let's see, let's roll down, see if we got anything else. That looks like it's it. Let's save that. And then we'll go in app and start removing our props and see what happens. So app.js. Let's get rid of, did I pass it in the header? I think I did. Let's get rid of the cart in the header. See what happens. We're still good. Let's get rid of it in the store container. We're hanging in there. And let's get rid of all of this. This one I got a feeling is going to break because I didn't mess with that other one yet. No, I ain't broke yet. All right, let's get rid of them in here. Looks like we've survived. All right, let's click on stuff. Processors. All right, processors, Intel. Add it to the cart. Close. Going to the cart. Remove from the cart. Oh, it works. Check that out.
Let's pull the state out of app.
The state needs to be an app.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Because of where we brought it in. It needs to be there.
We didn't. So, would you guys like to put this to practice this afternoon on a project of your own? If I give you guys like a challenge project?
Sorry, you say that again.
Would you guys like to put this in practice of your own this afternoon? I could give you a challenge project using context, and you guys could build your own little project. I'll give you the like parameters of it, and then me and Chris will be here to answer questions or help you along the way.
Yeah, I'd give that a try.
This redirect, not having this redirect is driving me nuts, so I'm fixing that real quick in the modal. It is literally, I can't take it no more. Const history was use history invoked. All right, now let's go back down here and history dot push, and we're gonna send that home. Yeah, okay, that'll make me feel better.
Okay, I'll write up the guidelines in the channel for our bonus project for the afternoon for anyone who does want to stay around. Because seeing this like this was cool, but using it yourself is where you'll really start to like hammer it in your head.
Yeah, definitely. Where was that one where I had the all the methods, and I want to try and erase those and see if we got. Oh yeah, here's the modal and the parts card. Let's see what happens. Get rid of this last little bit. See if it breaks. Ah. Oh, it didn't break yet. It's out of processor. Let's get the Ryzen 9. Let's spend the big bucks. Yeah. What kind of motherboard do I want? This one looks cool. Memory. I'm a Corsair guy. And I did the Evo. See how expensive my computer is going to be. Oh, the wind force. I'm going to use the NVIDIA. And cases. Cooler master, yeah. Coolers. That deep cool one's kind of cool. I actually like this because it shows you the temperature in a little window. All right, I built a computer. How much was it? Where's my total at? How come I'm not getting a cart total? What happened there? Cart total is 0, so cart total, cart dot items dot reduce. That's gonna drive me nuts. Why is that? Where's my cart total? Oh, there it is. It's on the end. It's a little tiny thing. $1,581. That's a pretty stout PC for $1,500 though.
Yeah, that'll get the job done.
Yeah. Only thing you need is another hard drive, a little more storage. Heck yeah. Oh, by the way,
preferably.
yeah. Well, I mean, I've got this right here, but I mean, you could go. Truthfully, I'm cheap. I normally go like a 4 terabyte, just a SATA record player, and then use it just for regular storage. Don't run anything off of it. I still don't know why this thing's so expensive because it's got a heat sink on it. I don't see where that's any better than the Evo. Oh yeah, let's put a 4 terabyte Western Digital in there. Yeah. Now let's check our cart. Yeah, it's like not showing up. I gotta get on Christina about her style in here. There it is. All right. So that was context in a nutshell. Any questions?
Not really, not for me. It's very neat. I think it's gonna make passing props a lot easier.
Yeah, because you don't have to pass props.
Yeah. That's the whole idea.
That's the whole idea.
Okay, so I made your bonus afternoon project. There's the directions